One of the reasons Allah describes Judgment Day and hellfire in such graphic detail, such horrible, horrible detail. Oh my God. No other text. Boiling water being poured on people's faces, and skins being torn off, and people being roasted, and people having to drink spoiled blood, and it's terrible. The descriptions of hellfire in the Quran are terrible. I mean, they are horrible, horrible descriptions. The following surah is not suitable for children. I mean, some of that stuff is really rated R. It's rated. If it was on a TV screen or something, you would change the channel. You say, how could this be on TV? It would be like that. The question though is, why do it? Why describe it like that? Well, the thing is, there are nations that came before us that were also given the same warnings that we've been given. Actually, our belief is what was taught about Allah to us was also taught about Allah by Prophet Isa alayhi salam, and Musa alayhi salam, and Nuh alayhi salam, and Ibrahim alayhi salam, and Salih and Shu'aib. They all taught the same thing about Allah. They didn't teach a different message about Allah. As a matter of fact, they also taught the same thing about the afterlife. They didn't preach a different judgment day, they preached the same judgment day. You will find the conversation about judgment day being made from the mouth not only of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ in the Quran, but you'll find it coming, those words are coming out from the mouth of Musa, Isa, Salih, Shu'aib, Nuh. Everybody's talking about the same judgment day. Why is Allah describing the same exact judgment day, but from different prophets? Because Allah is letting us know, it's not like He changed what your beliefs are supposed to be over time. You remember what are the 2 out of 3 things that have been constant? Do you remember? Who could tell me? Morals and beliefs are supposed to be constant. All prophets taught the same morals and the same beliefs. And this is part of belief, isn't it? This is part of belief. They were taught the same thing. Now, what happens over time is Allah starts giving more details, but He never contradicts what was already taught. So the idea of a heaven and a hell have already been taught. But what happened, unfortunately, for other nations? Something terrible happened. Like one of the descriptions of what happened to Bani Israel in the Quran is that their hearts became hard. Pay attention to this part, you'll understand something inshallah. One of the descriptions is their heart became hard. And one of the ways in which we learn in Islam that the heart becomes soft is when it remembers the afterlife. Not only when you remember Allah, but when you remember the afterlife. You'll find all over the world the Taraweeh prayer being led, and you'll find people when the ayat come of Judgment Day, when the ayat come of Jannah, when the ayat come of meeting with Allah, when the ayat come of the punishments, you'll hear what in the crowd? You'll hear crying in the crowd. You're going to hear crying in the crowd. Why? And it'll happen while Allah is reciting, or people are reciting the ayat about Allah's favors, or when Allah's ayat about Judgment Day and the akhirah are being recited, people are going to be moved. In other words, the idea of the akhirah makes the hearts what? Soft. And one of the accusations against Bani Israel is what? Their hearts had become hard. You will notice something. There's an interesting connection between these two things. They systematically eliminated almost all mention of the afterlife. As a matter of fact, a good number of denominations of Judaism outright denied the existence of the afterlife and said there's only heaven. As a matter of fact, some of them even believed that everybody who's non-Jewish will just die and just cease to exist, and the only people that will be left on the earth are people that follow God's law, meaning the Banu Israel, and that'll be heaven in and of itself when they're just left to their own devices. That's heaven. They developed that idea. In other words, they eliminated the concept altogether. They just eliminated it. What happened for the Christian community over history is a long story, But what happened in modern times is if you turn the TV on and you watch one of those shows that you probably watch but you're not supposed to watch, like back in the day, Simpsons, then the mutation of the Simpsons into Family Guy and South Park and all these other shows, one of the things that are constantly made fun of is God. And one of the other things that's constantly made fun of is heaven and hell. There are entire shows dedicated to people that are in hell. They're just having a heavy metal party or whatever. It's a joke. It's a joke. Like, it's just pitchforks and, you know, horns sticking out. And it's all red and stuff. And it's just a rave party. It's a joke. It wasn't something serious anymore. Hell is no longer something serious. I mentioned this to you before. There are movies made about a character going into hell, rescuing someone and coming back out of hell. They do that? Okay. And the entire idea of hellfire being this horrible, horrible place, we've done, and this is actually, where did the ideas of hell in modern film, where do they come from? Where do you think they come from? They come from the biblical narrative. They come from the Bible. They're mutations of what they learn in the Bible. They've twisted those beliefs into something entertaining. It was a mercy and a gift of Allah that He gave us a description of hellfire. 1400 years it's been. 1400 years. Do Muslims joke around about hellfire? No. You don't find a Muslim manufacturer, unless they don't know what they're writing, come up with a jacket with a flaming skull that says Highway to Hell. You don't find it. Is this found in the Christian community? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, no big deal. The tornado, the storm is something serious, and it has maintained its seriousness for 1400 years. The nations that came before us, their beliefs in Allah deteriorated, and their beliefs in the Akhirah and the seriousness of what is coming also deteriorated. And whether or not you take that warning seriously, is it still coming? Isn't it a gift of Allah that you still, after 1400 years, did not lose sight of how serious it is? Is that a gift or is that a curse? And yet somebody reads the descriptions of the Quran, of people's faces being boiled, or people burning in the hellfire, and says, why? The question why is long gone. The question why, that question is, the answer to that's already been told since the first prophets. Because this is not something new. The only thing now is, at least this knowledge has been preserved. This knowledge has been preserved. The Christian prides himself that our book does not have the description of hell that you people have. Actually, it did. You guys eliminate quite a few things. It did. And it's not something to be proud of. To forget a teaching that Allah gave. I would rather know now than be in it. I would rather know now and get this description and be freaked out and then get my act together than actually show up there. Now this, before we go any further, the idea that Allah will somehow be unfair, or Allah is out to punish. Allah is out to punish. These are people's own conceptions. People think that Allah is out to punish them. And this is one of Shaitan's greatest tricks. Look at how the Quran describes punishment. See what he wants to do to you? What kind of God is this that wants to punish you like this? Why would he want to do this? What have you ever done to him that he should do this to you? And he wants to fill your head with these ideas. That Allah wants to punish. إِلَّا مَنْ رَحِمَ رَبُّكَ وَلِذَلِكَ خَلَقَهُمْ. Allah Azza wa Jalla says, the one who Allah shows loving care to, and that's why He created them. He created them so He could show them love and He could show them care. You know, in the Quran, فأنذرتكم نارا تلظى لا يصلاها إلا الأشقى. I'm warning you about a fire that roasts. I'm warning you about a fire that roasts. What is that fire? Jahannam. La yaslaha, no one will be cast in it. Illa al-ashqa, except the most evil people. Al-ashqa. Al-ashqa is in the Arabic the superlative. The superlative of shaqi. And shaqi is many meanings. Wretched, unfortunate, evil. Man. In that one ayah, Allah does, the average human being will be thrown into hellfire. As a matter of fact, He doesn't even say that people will be thrown, the most wicked will be thrown into hellfire. He says nobody but the most wicked will be thrown into the hellfire. La yaslaha illa al-ashqa. Negation first and then that. La yaslaha illa al-ashqa. Subhanallah. And then وَسَيُجَنَّبُهَا الْأَتْقَى. The ones that are most protected, the most protected ones are going to be safe from it. That's also a superlative. In other words, what more protection is there than from that? That is the ultimate protection. You think you save yourself from things here? No. The real protection, the most protected people are people that are protected from hellfire. And the people that go in it are the worst of humanity. The worst of humanity.